This week in Gran Turismo, we race a slow car, but it's some very good racing in Race A. Daily Race B sees me go on a journey to Narnia as I get hit off, and in Daily Race C, the Chicane of Death is back. But how many victims are there? Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2024, week 21. And this is an interesting week in my opinion, because in the background you can see that Alfa Romeo MiTo, a very slow car, but actually provides some very good racing. Remember, I've always said the slower the car, the better the racing, but we'll see how good it is a little bit later on. We're doing 4 laps here at Road Atlanta. It's a grid start with a false start check. Comfort soft tyres, and of course BOP is on, so you can either put livery on, change a few bits of design here and there. Otherwise, just rent the car out and have some fun. Let's jump into this first race. Actually, no, before we do, some timestamps, because some of you might not like this first race. So you can jump to Race B or Race C if you want to try out Group 4 or Group 3 respectively. But, as I say, we're going to jump into this one. I'm going to show you that this race is actually pretty good in my opinion, and probably worthy of a little bit of your time to try out. Right, who is in this race then? Some interesting... We've got Chicken Angel, some different names. I say interesting names, different names, because I'm not used to racing some of these guys. Right, traction control on 1 then. This does have wheel spin at the start. Hold the handbrake. Remember, that is the best way to start here with that penalty check then as we release it there. Look at the traction control kicking in. It may only have like 2 horsepower, but apparently it still spins the wheels. There we go. We got Smarty's machine. I can't speak. Of Blue Racer up ahead. But everyone seems to be going here. You do short shift this car, and I'll talk about a little bit more of that in the track guide as we head in towards turn 1. Now, I just said it in the intro. Slower cars mean better racing. I've always said this, and look at that. What a clean turn 1 that is. Sonic thought it'd be deadly turn 1, but not the case here. As we go into this sharp right-hander side by side here. Usually absolute carnage, but no. Really good racing so far. Some rubbing there happening, but because we're going so slow here, rubbing can actually happen weirdly because you don't have the ping-pongy effect that you have when you do double the speed or treble the speed. We're going to head up here, though, into the left-hander. Everyone's slowing down nicely then as we go into here. Weight transfer, a bit of an issue in this car. And somebody's got a track limit penalty up ahead. I assume that's track limits anyway. 2 seconds, bit of a big one. As we go through this right-hander, Mario Sonic on the inside there of Viking Crusher. Viking Crusher doesn't like the Vikings. Does Viking Crusher gets rid of them there, but we're going to get rid of them as we go down the inside there up into P9 we go then, and hopefully fall in behind Mario Sonic. We do indeed. But we jump to lap number 2 then as we go into here. Slight contact up ahead, and again, that rubbing, yeah, it's not the greatest, but even so, everybody survives if there's a bit of contact. We've got a bit of slow movement going on up ahead then, slowing it down then as we come into this right-hander. A little bit of rubbing there for sure as we continue on through here and head down through this. Well, it's normally always tight here, but look at up ahead. Mario Sonic El Torti here, side by side as we go into here. Slight contact again as we go into this left-hander. They all sorted themselves out. We get a nice clean run through here then on them both. El Torti gets a 0.5 second penalty. We've got a run on Mario Sonic, so we should get this place sent up into P8 we go as we head towards the double right. Can we get it done and dusted beforehand? No, Mario Sonic still on that inside. We're trying to maintain the pace around the outside. Do we do it here? Just there. We get the job done then through the right we go. So we're in the fight for P4 at the moment. The top 3 have accelerated away here. What we're going to do is fast forward a little bit here because, of course, El Torti will take that penalty. And 0.5 second penalty is a 0.5 second penalty, if not a little bit more if you do take it here as we go into the chicane here at the very end of the circuit. Sonic gets it slightly wrong there. He goes a bit too deep into the first part. Compromises the second then as we go up here and over. And I'm pretty sure Sonic double shifts here because I get an absolute insane run. And it felt really low down there. So Sonic may be trying to double shift. I'm not too sure. But we do go up into that infamous position of P6 then. So we've got some fighting going on for P3. Also fighting for P4 up ahead then. Sorry, it's P2 fighting in the distance. But we go through here. Ziggy went for the move. Didn't quite work out. Has a very slow run on the exit then. Now, some people would absolutely send it here. But because I realized if you send it, you are risking a crash there. I decided against it and figured I could maybe make the move elsewhere. Let's see where we can do that move then as we go down the hill once again. Blue Racer making some good advancement here in that Smarties machine up ahead as well as we come up to this left-hander here. Slowing the car down nicely. Not really using the full length of the brakes here in this race. And the reason for that is because of the weight transfer. We get an insane run there. Look how close we got to the rear of Ziggy's car, but we didn't actually touch there, which does mean we get the run past them here as we head to the double right-hander. And yes, we are clean on through then. Look at that. Nice and easy. This field's starting to spread out now. I do feel like this race should have been 3 laps, if I'm honest with you. It's weird because I normally say the races should be longer, but this, a 3-lap race, would have been actually better with the way the field spreads out. But that's just my opinion. Hey, I got the fastest lap there as well. And maybe you've got a different opinion. Let me know in the comments. That's it for this race. So I reckon this is a really good race and one you should definitely try out. Now, if you are struggling with this car, I'm going to give you a track guide to help you out massively here. So as you head towards turn number 1, on the left-hand side there, you got the end of the pit wall or the ambulance. You're actually braking at the ambulance, but you might want to use a pit wall if you're initially trying to get used to it. Now, during the race, I said don't use 100% braking a lot of the time here because the weight transfer will be huge. This car's suspension is very roly-poly. But I'm going to use it initially here. No, I don't. I don't even go to 100 there. So you notice that I'm trying to not go 100 as much as I can. I thought I did there, but no, it was about 90%. So as we go up here, what I'm going to do is start to lift off. Again, I'm trying to settle the car. The key to a fast lap here and the key to controlling this car is to settle the car. So I've got the billboards on the left-hand side. That is my brake marker. Okay, you could always use the white line as well. So essentially, I've already lifted off here. I'm trying to straighten the car up, settle the weight in the car before I go on the brakes. There we go. A dab of the brakes and I accelerate through the corner. Notice I wasn't turning as I broke there. That meant the car stayed stable and I could accelerate through the curb there. I also cut a little bit of the curb as well. I do lift a little bit going down here just to avoid any understeer that I could suffer in this front-wheel drive car. And as I come up here, once again, notice I've lifted off before I go on the brakes. I'm trying to settle the car. Settling the car is key. So you've got this straight line part of the curb. That is your brake marker. You can also use the billboard on the right-hand side. Okay, now you do want to drop to 3rd gear initially here, in my opinion, to get the best run through here. So I drop to 3rd and then back up to 4th. It just rotates that car a teeny tiny bit, which is all you need there to accelerate through. Miles an hour are critical here. It's such a slow car. 1 mile an hour more gained on the corner will actually help you massively as we continue on here. So as we get towards the double right-hander, so I use your brake marker on the right-hand side. The grass goes to tarmac there. That is what I am using. Now, I haven't talked about short shifting here. I believe 6,500 or 6,200 revs is the way you want to shift, to be honest with you, which is before you get to the end of the red line here, okay, as I stay in 4th gear. 3rd gear, potentially better for that corner. I did try it out, and I think it's a tiny bit better, so you may want to try that. As we come into this corner, though, it is 3rd gear, definitely for this one. So you got the kink in the curb there. That's what I use. You could also use that white line there on the right-hand side or middle-ish there. You can actually see that better on chase cam. So that might be your preferred brake marker for this right-hander. But 3rd gear, definitely for this corner. Start accelerating as early as you can here. You'll suffer a bit of wheel spin. Straighten up the steering as best as you can there. And then once again, you're looking for around 6.2 to 6.5 on the revs. You can see that in the right-hand side there. I'm not going to the red line. As we go towards the chicane then, you got the 200 board or the billboard. Okay, so you can actually break in between them as well. So these are your brake markers. Pick and choose as you like. Remember, I'm on weak ABS for those wondering. I do put that in the description as well. But as we come into here, I'm going to hit the brakes. And it's a 3rd gear corner. Now, you are going to hit 100% brake in there in a straight line. And then as I release, I start turning. And notice there, it wasn't as much weight shift. Now, if I start turning earlier while 100% on the brakes, the weights will shift massively. And the car will just understeer off because the weight's all over on the right-hand side of the car. You do have to be careful of the weight in this car. Again, the key to this car, the key to a fast lap is stability. Make the car stable first. Avoid using 100% braking where you can. Lift off where you can. Stabilize the car. That's it for race A. We're already on race B here as we see a Ford GT go for a spin there. Not sure what's going on there. I'm in a Porsche 911 GT3 car and we're at Lago Maggiore West. We're doing 5 laps here. It's a rolling start on Racing Hard Tyres. You can only change the brake balance. Woo! No setups this week! Yes, thank you, Gran Turismo. I don't really like the setup part of this, to be honest with you. And thankfully, it's just brake balance. Although cars are very sleepy here. Let's jump into this race as there is a little bit of crashing that goes on due to that slippiness. Okay, choices here. Porsche 911 in pole. We've got P4 for Sonic there as well. I'm in the Porsche 911. Lots of Porsche 911s, to be honest with you. It's very slippy here. Now, make sure you slip over to that like button because if you are enjoying this video, I do appreciate the likes. It tells me you are enjoying it. And subscribe to stay in touch with all the latest content and help us on that journey to 50k. Remember, there is a special planned at 50, 60, 70, 80 if we do get to those milestones. So do keep in touch. And of course, it does say that you enjoy the content, and I appreciate that. Right, okay, into turn 1 and turn 2, nothing happened. Into turn 3 we go then, which can be a deadly corner. Not this time, though, in this race, as we fast forward a little bit here, as we head towards a Banky Boy. Then we get very close to this Ford GT. Then looking on the inside here, up ahead. Oh, big car, big crash there on the right-hand side. That was huge here, as we get on the inside there of Mario Sonic as well. We'll get the bloopers for that one. That Porsche got sent to the realms. completely there. And we are up into P12 as we go through the right-hander. Big old crash, that one, as we continue towards the double right-hander here. Lots of double right-handers this week, actually, thinking about it. So through this part we go. Nothing major happening. I think there's some action up ahead. Looks like two side by side in the distance for P7 as we continue on through here. Going to accelerate through here. Shelty, a bit of oversteer. Blue Race on the inside. Oh no, Shelty tries to catch the oversteer, and unfortunately we get sent to Narnia there. Into the barrier we go. And down to P15 with a bit of damage. Fortunately, it's on light, how it should be, Gran Turismo, as we overtake Blue Racer as well. Maybe Blue Racer thought it was their fault. I'm not too sure. We'll have a look at the bloopers, of course, as we see Shelty in the distance. Who's going to let me go here? Maybe Shelty thought it was his fault as well. Did lose the rear end, of course. We did see that briefly, but it could have been the Blue Racer contact that caused it. We'll have a look at the bloopers, of course. I've not seen it yet. We will see it later on in the video as we advance to lap number 3. We've got I'm Very Big Boss up ahead. Then normally I try and avoid this driver usually. Let's see what kind of racing we can have versus the Audi R8 driver as we continue on up here. Then through the left we go. We are very close to Audi R8. It's going to be very slippy. You know, if the Porsche is slippy, then any other car is going to be even more oversteery essentially here. As we look down the inside, then they defend that nicely. Late break in there. Do make the apex as well. Beautiful defense there. We've got four-way battle in the distance there. So that's going to be what? For P8 up in the distance. I wish I was involved in that one, but not at the moment. As we continue on through to the final lap then, where we have gone up to that group. We have been fighting I'm Very Big Boss here as well, who goes off the circuit then. Comes back on. We're going to have a big old run here then because they will have slowed down a little bit due to that grass then. It's not iRacing here, it's Gran Turismo as we go into the slipstream over towards the right hand side we go. We're going alongside the Audi R8 driver then as we head down towards Banky Boy. It's going to be a 7.5 here. Do we get it done? No, we break at the same time. They give me room on the inside though. Beautiful little effort there as we continue on through here. Very good racing here with I'm Very Big Boss. I appreciate this. It does change my perception on your driving as this is looking very nice indeed as we go into the right-hander then. Up into P12 we go. Gonna have to go defensive very quickly here. As we head in towards the braking zone, into the braking zone we go, and we get a slight tap on the rear quarter. That sends me round there, and I'm not very happy with that when you see me shaking my head here. We're side by side with the Finnish driver, also in a Porsche then, as we continue on through here. We're going to be side by side with the Bilstein machine. What is that, Jimmy? I don't know. As we head in towards the braking zone. Or is it Steve? Could be anybody. As we continue on through here then, but we do get that position, and we are down in P13, unfortunately. So we didn't lose that much in the end. You see me shaking my head. I wasn't very happy with that one, to be honest with you. But again, we'll have a look in the bloopers to see whether I was right to be shaking my head and ruin my eyes there. As you can see, the frustration. Let me tell you how to do a lap here, though I accidentally got rank 1 when I did this. I only went to do a few laps. But on the left-hand side there, Blue Van Man is your brake marker. And you saw my brake bounce there in the Porsche. It's +5 here and weak ABS. But Blue Van Man there, your braking marker. So I brake at that point. Of course, if you're in different cars, you may have to brake earlier or later. But that's the marker I always use here in towards turn 1. Try and clip the inside curb if you can, and try and get into the middle of the road as best as you can to get a really nice line for this right-hander. Now, on the right, there, you've got white painted grass. That is your brake marker, the end of it, of course, on the right-hand side. Very easy marker to do here. Now, remember, this is the shorter circuit. So the whole point here is we want to accelerate a bit earlier than normal to get over to the outside of the circuit as best as we can here to maintain a very good line for this right-hander. Now, we've got to start the curve there on the right, okay? That's my turn-in marker. Now, as I turn in, I'm going to start lifting a little bit depending on how the car reacts. Sometimes it'll understeer, so I'll have to lift off a bit more. Sometimes it won't, and I can just get round. That's due to potential wheel spin, just rotating the car a little bit more. So as I turn into here, I lift off there and then accelerate through the corner. You just got to be careful on exit, of course. You can understeer off, as we saw from the Italian a bit earlier on. We just fast forward this bit, of course, as we head towards Banky Boy. So 3 brake markers you can use here. You got the flag indicator, you got the 50 board, you got the end of the wall, and you got the billboard. So 4 brake markers actually that I've highlighted with 3 boxes there. Generally, I'm looking at the pit wall or the 50 board mostly here as my brake markers, and I want to brake quite deep into this corner and come back when it's very slippy. Otherwise, you may want to use the inside here as we do a little bit there. You can go a bit more on the inside, but you start risking oversteer on exit because you're overturning the car. Okay, as we go through here then, absolutely flat out. Same for the kink here as well, not a problem. We're going to head up towards my next favourite brake marker, which you all hate. Okay, so on the right side, there is a gap in the trees. It's just after the camera structure on the right, and that is what I use as a brake marker. You can see I'm still accelerating. I'm about to hit the brakes at this very moment. Can you see it better on chase cam? Not really, but you can see the camera equipment there, so that might be a better brake marker on chase cam because I'm about to hit the brakes there. as I come into here. You want to take a wide line into this corner because you're going to go out here. You're going to use some of the curb, and then you want to come back in before the double curb ends. Notice there, it goes from a double to a single. So I want to be off the curb. So you see, I'm already off the accelerator. I'm about to dab the brakes a little bit here because I want to start the rotation of the car for this second apex. So that's what I'm going to do right now as we get going there. Dab the brake a little bit, try and get on the inside, accelerate through the corner. Now you can actually straddle the sausage if you want to. I don't on this particular lap because I was just too far on the inside and it would have made my lap a bit more sketchy. And as we head towards this last corner, we've got bullet signs, bullet billboards on the left hand side. The very last one there, the edge of it, is my brake marker for this one. You can see I'm just starting to lift off and go onto the brakes right about now as well. Now you can see how many laps I've done. I've not done very many. This is lap number 4. I've done 10 miles, whatever that is in terms of distance as we go through this left-hander. We're going to accelerate as early as we can, use all the runoff if we can. Just make sure you stay two wheels within the white line and head towards the line. That's a 121.7. I'd say plenty of time in this. I was just surprised to do that, to be honest with you. That's it for Daily Race B. We jump to C, where you can see I'm in a Bugatti Veyron. Yes, I'm in a Bugatti Veyron. As we are in Group 4. I'm at a track we've not done in quite a while, if I'm honest with you. I can't remember the last time we did this. It's Dragontrail Seaside. We're doing 10 laps here. It's a rolling start on racing hard tyres. You need to pit at least once, but you don't have to change the tyres. ×2 fuel, ×6 tyre wear, and you can change the suspension and brake balance. Not full tuning, but still a little bit there. But it's going to be a bit interesting in terms of the chicane of death because, yes, that is on this circuit. Let's jump into this race now. Let's have a look at exactly what happens and how many victims it really claims. Okay, what cars do we have in this one? Toyota Supra is very much up there. I believe it's the meta car at the moment, although I believe this Veyron could be up there, if I'm brutally honest. Now, I was rank 1 when I joined this race, crazily. If you enjoyed this video, as always, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. You know, you may see more lap 1 times. We will see. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to try this Veyron again this week and see if I can come up with a setup which helps it a bit more. I'm using default setup here, so do bear with me that I am using brake balance. So as we look at Laporte here, down the inside already, we're seeing the strength of this Veyron straight away, actually acting like a Veyron and being very quick in a straight line. Now, this car is a bit iffy on corners, don't get me wrong, but let's see how it handles the chicane of death. But first up, Cruise Corner. Why is it called Cruise Corner? Because Lake Teach called it Cruise Corner, and that's what we're calling it from this point on as we come into this braking zone then and slow it down nicely. So we've got a long train of cars here. You do have to think about dirty air as you enter into the chicane of death then as we come into this right. And I'm just going to be careful here as much as I can. I'll start lifting very early here. There we go. There's the slight lift. And do we have any victims here this first time around? There's some smoke up ahead. Anything major, though? Not really. We do have a run on Laporte, who did bump draft Biosonic a little bit there. Not sure exactly what was going on here, but we are down the inside of the Super Driver as we head into this braking zone. Then there's some smoke in the distance as well as a bit of contact. But look how close everybody is here as we continue on through here then. Laporte goes in the pits then. Blue Racer as well. Hodgson goes in. Lots of people in the pits here. And we have a big old run on Mario Sonic here. So we're going to see the strength of this Veyron once again. Then look at the speed difference here. And this is why I think this car can be the meta this week if it's just tuned to the right settings, essentially. But we'll see what happens as we go into this braking zone. Then we're already up to P6. Obviously, some people have gone in the pits, but I do have fresh air. Now, most people are not going to change their tyres here because you don't need to in some cars. I do feel this Veyron may struggle with tyre wear, but let's see what happens. Lap number 2, chicane of death. Here we go. Any victims this time then as we go into here? Once again, I'm taking it very cautiously. Could do it a lot quicker. Oh, brown banana there. Naked ape. Unfortunately, clipping the barrier as we go on by. Then up into P5 we go as we advance to lap number 3. Then, of course, up to the next battle up ahead. We can actually see the leader, believe it or not, as we go into this right. Now, the racing here this week is going to be very close. Very, very good, very close. In fact, I think it's some very good racing and potentially some good strategy here as well in terms of whether you change tyres or not, what car you use, and of course the fact that the slower the car, the closer the racing, and Group 4 is slower than Group 3. Now, we did try on the outside of the Norwegian driver. Not going to work here. The Veyron does struggle on the corners a little bit. I am going to make it a bit more pointy. Again, as I say, you will see that video when I do it here as we head into the chicane once again. Then behind the Birgit? I have no idea how to say that. The Norwegian driver. Oh, big smoke ahead. Oh, there's our first major victim then. ECM 350 LTU. Unfortunately, you are a victim of the chicane. Now, we do go in the pits because we are getting slowed down a little bit there by the Super Driver. We don't change tyres on this run. We'll see the impact of that a little bit later on as we leave the pits then. Here we go. We've got Shelty coming up quite quickly in a, I believe that's a Lamborghini. And then we've got Laporte again behind them. So we do lose out to Laporte, who did undercut me then just there. But you can see how the strategy could play out there. You know, if I had free air, potentially I was going to come out ahead. But with the fighting with the Norwegian driver, I came out behind. So choose when you pit wisely and then what you do in the pits as well. Right, coming down here then, Laporte looking on the inside of Shelty, not going to quite work. We're looking around the outside then. Do we get it round? And no, we don't. We fall in behind. But remember how fast this car is in a straight line. As long as we're close, we should be in with a chance of gaining positions here as we head into the chicane once again. Lap number 4 then. Any victims in the distance? I don't see anything here as we go through here. Just lifted slightly. Oh, Shelty into the barrier then. Laporte going for the move on the inside. And we're getting very close. We're getting very, very close here as we head towards the last corner. Slowing it down here, trying to follow Laporte through because I know that Lamborghini is going to be quicker than the Supra. So if I can get ahead of the Lamborghini of Shelty. Oh, Laporte made a mistake there. A little bit of oversteer on exit, which it does suffer from being front engine rear wheel drive. And look at this. We're 3 wide. It's a dragon race. Toyota Supra versus Lamborghini Huracan versus Bugatti Veyron with what's that coming out of the pits? A Supra as well. Look how close everybody was there. And we get the position and up into P9 we go as we head into the braking zone then. And we know that Supra that we just overtook from the pits was ahead of us. So we continue on through here. We've got a chance of victory here, I feel, as we advance later on then. Lap number 7 then. Laporte behind me now. Did overtake Shelty. We have dropped Shelty a little bit here as we continue on. But look at our tyres. They are dropping here. And that weight really showing itself here in the Bugatti Veyron as we continue on. Laporte looking down here. I'm going defensive here. As long as I stay close to Laporte, I can always overtake on the start-finish straight. That's what's in my mind then as we head down in towards the braking zone then. Slowing the car down nicely as we do that. Laporte looking on the inside to Laporte get it. Oh my word, what a run in the Supra. My word, that is a run. So I'm going to back out of this a little bit here. Just lift off, let Laporte go. As long as I stay close once again, we should be in with a chance then as we go into here. I've got to be very close to very careful dirty air, sorry, there as well as we continue on through the Veyron. Handling it quite nice here. You just got to avoid the edge of curbs in this Veyron, if I'm brutally honest with you, as we head towards the last corner. Then we are very close here, so we should have a good run like we did on Marisonic earlier on as we come into this corner. So nice and easy does it. We just accelerate out the corner. We are very close here, about a similar gap to Marisonic last time. So we should have a good run here. It should be on then in terms of position. Let's see, that's 0.3 of a second. And here goes the pull then on the Supra. Look at this. So Laporte is definitely going to go defensive here. Goes towards the left-hand side. I'm going to go towards the right-hand side then to make sure I get this move done quick as I can then. Already ahead in towards the braking zone. So let's just stick it in the middle of the road here to avoid any chances of a move there. Because if Laporte gets ahead of me before turn 1, very much could get away from me. Get a bit of oversteer on the exit there, does Laporte as well. Lap number 8 then. Through the left we go. And then the right. So Laporte is going to catch up to us very quickly. The handling on that Supra very good, isn't it? As we continue on through, just going to ride the curb a little bit, but it can handle it here in the Veyron. Then we go defensive once again. Laporte towards that left-hand side here. We are fighting, but you are catching the leaders as well. That gap down 4 seconds already then as we go into this right-hander. Was going to try and defend it a bit better this time. Unfortunately, Laporte gets an even better run than last time. It's a beautiful run here as we go into the chicane. It's deja vu here. Now, can we survive this once again? Lap number 8. It's always nerve-wracking coming into here because you know anything could happen as we go through here. That was a really good run by me. Really good run by Laporte as well then. So it's all status quo for now. I just need to do the same as last time. Follow them through then. Here we go as I go out the slipstream to avoid that. In towards the braking zone we go. And unfortunately, I go a bit deeper this time as we come through here. I need to get on the throttle very early here. We are 5 tenths off now, Laporte. And unfortunately, that looks like a bit too far, a bit too much to ask here. As we look to catch up then, we need a 3/10 gap, not a 5/10 gap. And Laporte stays ahead then as we go in towards turn 1. But can I stay with them? That is the question as we continue on out of here. We advance towards the end of the race. I couldn't, unfortunately. Well played to Laporte. We come on with P2 in the end. Really fantastic race in the Veyron, but I do feel potential tyre change in the Veyron is worthwhile where other cars may not need it. Interesting tactic that I may also try later on when I do this race again. Very good race, this one. You can have some good fun here, and the chicane of death always gives you a bit of excitement as well. I used +5 brake balance in this one. You just saw the graphic there. And as we head towards turn 1 then, 2 brake markers you can use. So you can use the orange barrier on the left-hand side. Any part of that will be helpful. You can try and brake as late as the curb, but I couldn't do that in the Veyron. I couldn't brake that late. And to be fair to you, braking earlier for turn 1 is better because you don't want to compromise the exit here. You're already at a peak speed here, so brake a little bit earlier. Try and cut a little bit of the inside if you can. It gives you a good run for the right. I always clip my tyre on the inside there just to rotate it a teeny tiny bit. If I did Rome in Gran Turismo 5, I think it was in 6 as well, you always clip your wheel on the inside just to rotate the car that little bit. Through the kink we go. A slight lift is very much beneficial if you are struggling with understeer. And as we go to this braking zone, then you've got the start of the grass and the end of the grass. Pick a brake marker in there. Use one of those two. Use the distance of the grass if you need to. And do make sure you don't go too far over the curb. If your left wheel goes onto the other side of the curb, you're going for a spin, and you don't want that. So I dropped the second gear here, use all of the inside curb, and accelerate as early as I can. I got a bit of rotation there, which was really nice in that Veyron. Acceleration towards the line then, it's a 0.6. That's quite a quick sector 1 then for the Veyron. As we head in towards the S's then, on the left-hand side, we have the orange barrier. That is my brake marker. I'd advise if you're using a Veyron to drop a gear. Other cars, you will want to drop a gear as well. Some, you will stay the same. Again, it's all car dependent. I'm just giving you the brake markers here just to give you an idea of what to do and what to use here in terms of those markers. So I stay in 5th gear in this particular run. 4th gear is definitely better in the Veyron. You can use a bit more of the inside curb there. I don't there. It does force me out though, and I use a lot of the inside on the left there, which does allow me to rotate the car a little bit, which was kind of nice, to be honest with you. Again, a default setup is being used here. I am going to try a setup to try and make this car better, but keep an eye out for that video. Heading towards this braking zone then, you've got to start the curb on the left-hand side. That's what I'm using in the Veyron. You can use the slope as it starts to go down here on the right-hand side if your car can brake later. Obviously, it depends on the car choice. I always say this. I give you a few markers to pick out here for cruise corner. All right, hard on the brakes we go then. As we come into here, we actually go a bit deep there. We do actually want to clip the apex for a better run out the corner. Do be careful about running wide here because it does tighten up. Head towards the chicane of death then. This is all flat out, this first part here, but what you are looking for is up ahead. You have this gantry here, okay? I've just highlighted it right there. You start lifting just before that if you are struggling with understeer here, and you do start turning at that point as well. You actually want to try and straight line this chicane as best as possible and try and keep your right tyres on the second part on the inside of the curbing so you don't touch it. That way you shouldn't hit the exit. So that's what I'm going to try and do here. That's why you get very close to the barrier. That was extremely close, but I made it work. As we accelerate towards the final corner then, and we can breathe a little bit that we've actually done the chicane. Right, as we head up here then, on the left-hand side, you have a mound. Now, you might want to use that as your brake marker. That's a perfect brake marker for me here. The 100 board and the curb is also good markers that you can use here, but it's too late for the Veyron in this regard. I actually prefer a tighter line for this corner, if I'm brutally honest with you. A tighter line, to me, seems better. It's sort of, you want to get it in and get it out as quick as possible, but I do a bit of a wider line and come in here. A tighter line, I think, is more beneficial. Just have a bit of a play there. Some cars will go deeper, and to start a lap, you want to go very deep and come back to get the best acceleration. But that is the lap guide of Dragontrail Seaside. Let's jump into some bloopers then. So here we are with Shelty, and this involves the Porsche up ahead then. So let's have a look what happens here. So the Porsche is towards the left then, Shelty's on the right. The Porsche just moves under braking at the very end there. So a big old racing incident in my opinion. Not really Shelty's fault. The Porsche just moved slightly. Maybe got scared of the French driver up ahead. I'm not too sure. We're on board Shelty again later on in the lap. Some oversteer there. The Blue Racer tries down the inside, and unfortunately then that unsettles Shelty even more, and I go off the circuit. So a bit of a hard one, that one. I don't feel Shelty needs to wait up there because it's just a big old racing incident. Shelty involved in 2 there, which is a bit unfortunate. Let's have a look at I Am Very Big Boss then as we go into this. We had some fantastic racing through the Banky Boy and up here then. What exactly happens here? Is it a big? Is it small? As we go into here then, it just turned in. It's a tough one. I am ahead at that point, and it is just a clip of the rear quarter, so I do feel like you should give the position back there in my opinion, but it's not as big as I thought it was at the time. Here we go with ECN then. This is a victim of the chicane. In towards the left we go. Oh, just got slightly wrong. Bit of weight transfer. The car just rotated slightly. And a big old hit there with an engine damage as well. Now we go on board Hodgson. This is actually earlier in the lap. Probably should have reordered these correctly. Into the braking zone we go. Hodgson goes for avoiding action there on the Citroen. But unfortunately, well, it does avoid them, but it goes for a big old spin there. That's unfortunate for Hodgson. I did wonder what happened there. That's why I went to Hodgson to have a little bit of a gander. Good attempt at avoidance, though. And here we are, Blue Racer. I wouldn't use an MR car this week, that's for sure, because they will suffer with big old jumps. And unfortunately, Blue Racer suffered there in the Ferrari 458. So another victim of the chicane. That's going to be it, though, for this video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, as always, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. There are 2 videos there to check out, including the recent car profile, which, if you are interested, tells you how Group 3 cars are performing and Group 4 is coming soon. 2 companies there that help me out as massively as well. You can use my discount code and check out the links in the description. A big thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video live stream again very soon.